If you appreciate our content, please click the thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. That will really help us to reach more people. Thank you.
All right, good morning, everybody. Today we start a new series on living our 5 principles. We talk a lot about the 5 principles in unity, yes? Okay, so who knows what our first principle is? God is everywhere. Oh, it's up there. You cheated. God is everywhere always. And when we say God, we're not talking about the old guy on a cloud with a beard. That's not God. God is principle. God is the divine Father, the divine Mother. God is the energy of love as creation itself. Charles Fillmore said, "There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life, God the good omnipotent." That principle encapsulates everything we believe in one statement. There is only one presence and one power in the universe, God the good omnipotent. It's singular, all-encompassing, and it's the force of good, of love, that is creation itself. There is nothing that is not of that. It provides the foundation for all of our metaphysical teachings in unity. And it is grounded in the belief that there is no separation between God and creation. Creation is God, and yet God is even more than that. And that creation is what? Good, thank you. That is our first principle. It's the core of our philosophy. God is not some distant figure, some old guy, as I said, up there on a cloud looking down on us. If you notice, we never sing that song, God is watching us from a distance. It's a pretty song, I know, but it's not the truth. God is not watching us from a distance. God is us. Having the experience of us. Thank you, Helen. That is having the experience of us. That also implies we are God expressing. We are that one presence, that one power in this moment, in this place, in this experience. Now, the overall experience and power that God is the universe itself. But we experience it by our life. And we can live in the consciousness of that, or we can separate ourselves from it through consciousness. We will never be separated from it in truth, but we can believe we're separated from it. And one of the reasons we study this stuff so deeply is so that we can get back to that consciousness that we are one. This principle also tells us there is no power opposed to that principle that God is. What may appear as evil or disorder or misalignment or misunderstanding is simply our lack of awareness of truth in the moment. And sometimes those moments last for years. Sometimes they're cultural. But we are working at getting back to that awareness. In the unity perspective, the world is not a battleground between good and evil. I bet most of us grew up with that idea, that there's Satan, let's see, I think he's supposed to be on this shoulder, and the angel's on this shoulder, and they're arguing, No, it's not a battleground. The creation itself, our experience itself, is a journey toward realizing the good that already exists within and all around us. We affirm that God is everywhere always. There's nothing else to say. If we could really get that, we wouldn't need anything else. So what we are doing with that is we're affirming that God is not bound by space or time. God's presence, God's energy permeates every moment, every place, and every individual. And recognizing that truth leads us to transformation. Transformation of ourselves, and as we transform ourselves, we transform the world around us. Because every awakening, every moment, every realization of truth Every awareness of light affects those around us. This isn't just something new. This is an ancient understanding. You go back to the Old Testament, and there's scriptures all through it about it. Psalm 139, where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the utmost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. This beautiful passage illustrates the inescapable presence of God, that no matter where we may be, physically, emotionally, spiritually, God is with us, even when we're not aware of it, because God is us expressing. There is no separation ever. God's presence is not selective, it is universal. Another example of that is from the bullfrog book, Jeremiah. Some of you get that? Jeremiah was a bullfrog? Yes, you can laugh in church. It is allowed, even if the minister's really bad jokes. But anyway, Jeremiah 23. Am I a God at hand, declares the Lord, and not a God far away? Can you hide yourself in secret places so that I cannot see you, declares the Lord? Do I not fill heaven and earth, declares the Lord. This passage tells us that God fills all of creation because God is creation. Again, you can't hide. You can't hide. Now, you can pretend that God is not there. We have free will, but God is always there. And that our teachings emphasize this. It's the foundation for our faith and our daily living. Moving forward through history to Acts, Paul said, for in him we live and move and have our being. And even some of your own poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. Jesus himself said, do you not know that you are gods and goddesses, sons and daughters of the Most High? We're one. We are one. God is not somewhere else. We live within God. And you can come and tie this in even to modern physics and quantum physics. Quantum entanglement shows that particles can be connected in such a way that what happens to one instantly affects another particle, no matter the distance. This suggests a level of interconnectiveness of the universe. It shows us that it's really one thing. Think about the very word universe. One, verse, song. It's one vibration. One vibration. Just as entangled particles are not separate, we are not separate. We are not separate from each other. I've said it before, and physics brings this out. There is no place where I end and you begin, except in our consciousness. We are all part of a unified field. What in unity we call the Christ consciousness or divine mind. Just older terms for that unified field. In quantum and physics, we also talk about the observer effect. What we observe, we impact. And how we observe it affects the impact of it. In quantum experiments, the act of observing a particle changes its very behavior, collapsing it from a wave of possibilities into an outcome. Consciousness has a participatory role in creation itself. That's why we stress so much. Don't get caught up in the consciousness of the world around us. There's a lot going on, I know. A lot of chaos. But if we hold our vision, if we can hold that vibration, that consciousness, because of spirituality and now because of physics we know, we can have a positive impact. Every little thought is powerful. That's why we say in unity, we teach that thoughts held in mind produce after their what? Kind. That mirrors that principle of the observer. Our awareness, our intention, our belief helps co-create the experience of reality. We are not passive beings. We are creative agents in the flow of God. Do you want to be a secret agent, or do you want to be an agent right out there? An agent for change for good. What kind of agent do you want to be? How powerful is this? So powerful that the universe itself is not limited by space-time. Quantum physics suggests that reality is not bound by time in any way, or even space. Events can influence each other across vast differences. This is the idea that God is omnipresent, not confined to one place or one moment or one religion or one belief system. Our true spiritual nature transcends physical limitations. And as expressions of the infinite, we are all connected. We are all one, which invites us in to a consciousness of an unlimited sea of possibility. We are told in quantum physics that creation exists as a vibration, a wave, and it manifests as a particle when a thought is applied to it. It's a boundless ocean of infinite potential, where everything exists in a state of possibility until it is brought into form. Charles Fillmore called that the ether. Think about it. Jesus called it the kingdom of heaven. That vibration where anything is possible. No matter how dark or how scary the world may look, there's a waveform right there just waiting for a thought of light, of divine order, of love, of collaboration, of peace. It's up to you. What energy do you want to give that waveform? What form do you want it to take? That's our understanding of divine mind, an infinite creative source from which all things emerge. Call it mind, call it waves of energy, call it physics, call it whatever you want. We're immersed in it. And through our consciousness, we draw this field to us and manifest the life we experience. How powerful is this? When we are in tune with it, we find we think the same thoughts. So much so that last week, Helen Leal, Maria Liena, I got to learn that now. Maria Liena shared a poem with me that she wrote, not knowing that this was going to be my talk that I had already written. So I'm going to invite her up to read her poem to us.
Bien. Vamos a ver a quiénes de ustedes hablan español. Muy bien, muy bien. Bueno, el unicidad del uno. El silencio fue roto con un trueno, el sonido y la luz. La ola de amor y las particulares de los protones, neutrones, electrones, todo en la frecuencia únicas del uno, manifestación de la creación. It's the uniqueness of the one. The silence was broken with a thunderclap. The sound and the light, the wave of love, and the particles of protons, neutrons, electrons, all at unique frequencies of the one, manifesting creation. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you, Maria Ayana. There, I did it. Thank you. She wrote that, not knowing that I wrote this. I didn't know that she wrote that. One mind, one consciousness. when we tap into that, miracles can happen. The most powerful understanding we can have is that God is not a being. God is being itself. God is not a person. God is principle. So if God is the grounding of all being, and we live and move and have our being in God, quantum theory then, spirituality, prayer, meditation, all of poetry, all of that affirms the idea that we are not separate. We are not separate from the universe. We are not separate from God, and we are not separate from one another. And then when we get into the consciousness that God is good, period. Not good if we're good, not good if we meet certain requirements, not good if we live by a certain religion or a certain political party or a certain nationality or whatever. God is good, period. End of story. It's a radical, empowering idea, and it was the idea that Jesus brought that revolutionized spirituality. God is good and God is everywhere. Then good is the fundamental reality of creation itself. That challenges every common religious belief in the West, especially. God is not the cause of suffering and evil. There is no devil or Satan. Suffering and the experience of evil arises from ignorance of divine truth or a misuse of free will. Jesus consistently confirmed and reminded us of the goodness of God. In Matthew 7, he said, "If you then who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father in heaven give good things to those who ask him?" Now, he wasn't talking about God up there. He was using a metaphor. No matter what we may think we are, within every human being is goodness. Every human being, even those who are sometimes make it very difficult to see. It allows us to understand that God's will for us, all of us, is good. And that allows us to shift our consciousness from pleading for divine intervention, hoping somebody or some deity or something will come down and fix everything for us, to realizing that we have the ability to change things. We have the power to change things. We have the consciousness to align ourselves with the divine law and truth. When we believe that God is everywhere present and that presence is good, it transforms how we live. It allows us to see the divine in everything, in every encounter and every situation, even those that are not pleasant. And when we can get in that vibration, we can change the experience for ourselves and for those around us. We can actually see the divine in others, because we can see the good in them. We cultivate compassion and empathy. And we begin to see beyond appearances, beyond behaviors, recognizing that every soul has a divine spark within it, which changes our relationships. It's that consciousness that is going to bring about a healing that is going to be so desperately needed right now between all people. Forgiveness becomes easier. Judgments fall away. And we begin to treat each other as reflections of the source. We become able to overcome fear and anxiety. There's a lot of fear and anxiety out there right now. Many of us feel it. But faith in God's constant presence allows us to feel a sense of security no matter what we face. We realize we are not alone. The divine presence walks with us in every challenge. In Isaiah 41, it says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." That allows us to know that we can have resilience. We can have hope, even when things don't look so hopeful. So how do we do that? Well, the same way that we do it, by doing the same things I say every week. Meditation, affirmative prayer, gratitude, and mindful living. The key practice is meditation and prayer, because that literally reprograms the human mind so that divine mind can work through it. Rather than asking God for help, we invite in the presence that God is into our awareness. It's already within us, but we invite it into our conscious awareness through our use of affirmations. God is principle. God is the underlying spiritual law of the universe itself. Beyond traditional theism, beyond religion, beyond anything else, there is only one power and one presence. God the good, what? Omnipotent. Charles Fillmore wrote, God is not a person who has set creation in motion and then gone away and left it to run down like a clock. God is spirit. God is infinite mind, the immanent force, intelligence everywhere manifest in nature. And yet we have a hard time embracing that, partly because of 1,600 years of programming of the exact opposite. But we can overcome that. Even when the idea that God is everywhere present, when we look on the news and social media, we can move beyond that. In the face of suffering, of injustice, of evil, we can move beyond that by asking, how do I reconcile divine omnipresence with human pain? We do that through the power of consciousness. While God is present, our experience of that presence depends on what we focus on, what we give our awareness to. When we are disconnected from our spiritual nature, we often act in ways that create pain, that create discomfort. When we get into the consciousness that God's will for all of us is good, and that we can align our own consciousness with that, we can still see what's happening, but we can become a force for change. We can become the ones who bring us back into divine order, who share the light, who heal, who comfort. So how do we do it? As I said, set aside time every day for meditation. Create that space in your consciousness for that awareness to arise. Use affirmative prayer. Live mindfully. Look for ways to be of service. And they don't have to be big waves. Oftentimes when we say, well, you got to be of service, we think we got to go out and change the world. What if we just smiled at somebody who needed a smile? What if we just gave a hand up to somebody who needed lifted up? A bit of food, a hug, a joyful word. That can make a huge difference in life. We serve the divine that way. So, in conclusion, God is here now, not just in this room, but everywhere. God is everywhere. God is the divine mother energy that we celebrate on this day. That is everywhere, in everybody, regardless of gender. There is only one presence and one power, God the good omnipotent. God is not out there, God is right here. God is not sometimes present, God is always present. God is not selectively good, God is inherent and eternally good. When we truly get that, we become God expressing. Our entire experience of life is transformed, and we live from a place of trust, a place of love, and a place of purpose. We see the divine in ourselves and each other. We face challenges with courage, and we celebrate blessings with joy. And we contribute to the healing of the world by embodying the light we are. God is not an idea. God is life itself. God is presence, God is breath, God is beauty, and God is truth. And God is within, around, and through all things, including you. Always, everywhere, and right now. Happy Mother's Day.